Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So today I will be building 2 shrines and a food court, even though the food court doesn't really deserve its name because, well, I went and looked at the footage and I realized that I only placed 2 stalls and a food court definitely needs more. Otherwise it's just not a food court. I also quickly want to touch upon that if you follow me on social media, you might have already found out that I did finish the main temple. However, I did this off camera mainly because of time reasons, because if I had included finishing the main temple on camera, it would have took probably 2 episodes because it took 2 hours, almost 3. And I really only wanted to spend 2 more episodes on the whole Acropolis. And those 2 episodes in my mind were already like finishing up the last buildings or building the last buildings and then cleaning up the place. So if I also included finishing the main temple, it would have drawn it out to a point that I wasn't happy with it. So you can expect 2 more episodes on the Acropolis, and then we will move on to the main streets. I also really have to say, with the main street we are going a bit off realism, because for Main Street you mainly want a bit of height and a bit, well, you want all the buildings to be connected so that basically forms a bit of a wall to lead you, or at least lead the view line straight into the weenie. That word is still weird to me. And yeah, with Greek buildings or ancient Greek buildings, you don't really get that unless you build all kinds of temples. And when the weenie is a temple, it's kind of boring to place just more temples. It's just going to be a repeating of all that. So with the main street, I'm probably going to tap more into Byzantine buildings, mainly because you get the height and all the connections between the buildings. Because, well, ancient Greek buildings normally have like ground floor and 1 or maybe 2 stories above that, but nothing more, and most of the buildings aren't connected to each other. I think the connection of buildings is more of a Roman thing. So yeah, if you want really realistic ancient Greek buildings, you might not want to watch me building the main street. But if you want to see like buildings with Greek influence, you can actually watch the main street. Actually, in both cases, I would love if you watched it. But I can't see why you wouldn't. So, just to give you a bit of a heads up on that. So, to go back into the footage, or just what I'm building, it is a shrine. And right here, I'm placing it right next to the road, but when I start building the food court, it's pushed back so that there's space for a bit of a square, because a square is usually where two roads meet, and that's only in one place on this entire Acropolis. Well, also in another place, but that just didn't feel right to make a square there. So yeah, with the food court, like I just didn't want to make stalls into temples, so I thought, let's build some storages, or just storehouses. I lost the word for a second, which you will see right now. I'm starting on the first one, and here you can already see Greek buildings aren't really known for their height, because this storehouse is literally 1 wall high. I also quickly want to mention, yes, I added pillars to this storehouse. This wouldn't really be a thing because it's a storehouse. You won't spend a lot of money on making it look nice, but because it was right on the view line from where the main road on the Acropolis, I wanted it to look pretty. So I added columns and pillars and everything. This storehouse is mainly, well, when I thought about it, it was These temples and shrines will get offerings in the form of food or other products, and they need a place to store them safely. And I thought, well, I can make a food court out of that. It is a bit weird to place them right next to the road, but I wanted the food court to be on the main road. But then, like, yeah, so eventually I just said, fuck it, I will place them on the main road and we'll make the ones that you see the most a bit more pretty. And then, yeah. Mind you though, like, a storehouse again wouldn't be fancy. Even if it was for the main temple, it would be bigger, but it wouldn't be that fancy with columns, because I think they wouldn't just waste the money on a storehouse. They would rather spend that money on the temple itself. I also think, like, with those storehouses, they wanted them close by so that there's a bit more, you know, you can see what's happening a bit. Because what's in these storehouses are probably like the biggest form of income for these temples, so you want them to be close and well guarded. Here's the second storehouse, which is a whole lot less fancy than the first one. There's no pillars in the form of those, you know, iconic Greek or just classical pillars. I don't really know for sure if an ancient storehouse would look like this. I mainly just like went a bit of like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I know shouldn't be like your main form of how things would look, but yeah, with ancient Greek buildings, the most well-known things are those pillars. And if a building doesn't have those pillars, it's just like foundations, so you don't really know what it looked like. So I just went guessing on this. I'm also already saying, like, I'm probably going to clutter up the whole place a bit more, but I will do that off camera. Like, on the footage I will do a little bit of cluttering, but I expect the area around the storehouse to just be a total mess. Yeah, I don't really know what to add on that, because I think even today the areas around warehouses and everything aren't really a high priority when it comes to keeping those places tidy and all. Here you can also see the 2 stalls that I placed. Even though the first storehouse definitely has room enough for 4 at least, for some reason, like, there are already like a bit of the places where they could be with the wooden framing. For some reason I didn't do that. For some reason I just went like complete squirrel mode and thought, alright, I'm done with this building, go to the next storehouse and then go to the next building. So yeah, I don't know why I connected the second storehouse to the shrine actually, because it's a bit too large to be like the storehouse for that shrine. Unless of course it's like a shrine of like one of the 3 main gods, like Poseidon, Zeus or Hades, but then again just doesn't really fit size wise, so I might destroy the connection between those 2 buildings. Don't know for sure though, but I will probably do that off camera because it's such a tiny detail that I don't want to get a video onto that. Maybe in like the last video where I clean up the place, maybe then, but even then I'm still doubtful it will make it into that video. So yeah, here you see me cluttering up a place a bit. It was really, yeah, there's not much to say about it. It's pretty much copying a place and just filling it up with stuff that could be in the storehouse and everything. And here I filled out the food court a little bit. Again, forgot to add more stalls. And here's a fun little thing, I built a wall. If you have watched my second episode, you will know that I said like Acropolises started out as defensive positions or fortresses and later got overall into like temples and all that. So here I wanted to get a bit of a reference that this used to be a fortress. And now on to the last shrine, temple-ish. I'm actually like not that happy with the main shrine building. I am happy with like the attachment of the garden that I'm building right now, but the main shrine is kind of like, it just doesn't fit in my eyes, because it's, well, it's just a bit weird. I can't really explain what it is though. It's just, yeah, and it's also like on the main view line you can see the roof, like the roof details and a bit of the wall closest to the road, and that looks fine. But if you get close to the building, it's just like, was I drunk or so when I was building it? Because, you know, you kind of get an established style when you're building more temples and shrines and all that, and this one just doesn't really go with that. In a way that could be fun, like the exception to the rule, but for me it just doesn't feel right. It just feels forced in there, and I actually, considering it, I think it looks a bit Roman for some reason. Like when I think of a Roman temple, I think like, well, a Greek temple has like the columns or pillars all around, and when I think of a Roman temple, I mainly see like pillars in the front, which is the case with this shrine or temple. You can call it whatever you like. And so that's just, I also just don't like the pillars. Like, this is like the biggest building for me. Yeah, that wasn't a real word, I just said what came to my mind immediately. However, I think if you look at all two videos before this and this video, you will immediately see what's my favorite part to use. And it's the, I think it's called like the stucco roof thingy, something. I don't know. I use that in almost every building just because it's that useful. But yeah, I'm nearing the end of the video right now, so I really hope you like it. I really hope I did a bit of a good job at it, at trying to make a food court, even though I missed half of the food court. Yeah, again, hope you like it. If you like it, please subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Tips or any kind of knowledge about Greek or ancient Greek buildings is always appreciated. Like, I know a little bit, but of course I am, well, my brain is a peanut. So I may know a few things, but not everything. Oh yeah, just to get back on like finishing up the main temple, I did include one frame, not frame, but a bit of footage of how the finished temple roof decorations looked like, so please enjoy that. If you want to see more of that, go visit my Instagram because I did post a photo of it there. And yeah, again, this is the third time I'm saying this, but hope you liked this video and hope you have an amazing day. And yeah, bye bye.